So last thing is we're going to do the lesson 4 cool down, the depreciating phone. So there's that word again, depreciating, right? It means it's something that loses value over time. Phones, cars, any sort of thing that as soon as you use it, it's never worth as much ever again, right? And the thing with phones is that it loses its value because Apple, Samsung, all these companies, right? They come out with phones that are better and then they're more expensive and it makes the previous model phone not worth as much. So this sense of depreciation, we're really talking about value and how it decays and how it loses value. So suppose that a phone that originally sold for $800 loses 3/5 of its value each year after it's released. So after 2 years, how much is the phone worth? So if it loses 3/5 of its value, then what's left? It must be 2/5, right? Whatever else left over to get to a whole number of 1. So after 2 years, how much is the phone worth? Well, so in year 1, the phone is going to be its starting value times 2/5, which ends up being what? Anybody? $320. Then in year 2, remember, it's going to lose whatever its value. So it's not worth $800 anymore. Unfortunately, it's worth a lot less. So it's only worth $320. Then what's left is only 2/5 of its value. So that ends up being 128. So after 2 years, the phone is now only worth $128. So let's write an equation to find the value of the phone, P, T years after it's released. Remember, the value depends on two things, the starting value, and then we ask ourselves what is left. So the value of the phone is worth whatever its starting value is times whatever's left, which in this case is 2/5, times repeatedly the number of years. So we say we raise it to the power of t because we'll keep repeating times 2/5 of the value, times 2/5, times 2/5, times 2/5 over and over and over. And to represent repeated multiplication, sure enough, we use an exponent.